Hello and welcome back to ComputerCraft. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to consider the idea that if the turtle is going to be digging, we're going to look back at the mine program again. If the turtle is going to be digging down and collecting ore in the fashion that we've done so far, we're going to need, it's going to be kind of useless for the top few layers to be searched for ore because because you know there's a few layers of dirt and then you go into stone and then all the ores come there. So what we're going to do is we're going to slightly modify the program to reflect what we need in this, and we're also going to make a few other modifications in order to just to clean up the code and to make everything a little bit better. So yeah, going to pretty much start from scratch again. So we'll just move everything into position like so, and then we can once again go into the mine program. So the first thing that we need to look at is in this loop over here, the start loop. So what we're going to need to do here is we're not going to actually need to run check walls. And the reason for that is because there's nothing in the first few layers. So we can remove this. And there we go. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go to the K loop, which is further down, isn't it? In the K loop, we're going to see the depth is the depth is going to 1. So obviously it's going from whatever it may be, 65 is going to 1, and it's going in -1 increment, or would you say 1 decrement? Whichever way you say it, though. I'm not sure if it's pre or post. I think it's pre though, but it may be post. Anyway. The point being is that this is going to basically stop. This is going to stop too late. So we need to basically balance it up on this side. So we'll do 3, and then we'll manually put in so it's going to stop a few blocks below the surface, and then we can manually put in the rest. So yeah. So we've got that one already. Could do is we could put the fuel here, and so we're going to need to put 2 more in, 2 more layers to account for the 2 extra layers that aren't being dug on the way back. So yeah. So let's do that. And we'll do like so. Now, the next thing that we want to do is we're going to have to understand that gravel is a waste of fucking time. Now the reason for that is because gravel is there's a lot of gravel around underground, and it can often get in the way of collecting ore. Now, so what we have to do is we'll put gravel in the 3rd slot, and then we'll ask the I loop to iterate between 3 slots rather than the 2. So if we can find that. Should be here, and then we can iterate over the 3 slots rather than the 2. Now, the next thing that we need to consider is to do with this line, with this section over here. By classifying it as junk, you can say return false, else return true. So if it's junk, we're going to say it's we're not going to collect it, and otherwise we are going to collect it. However, this is not the best way to do things. The reason for that is that if we see that it's dirt, we can actually, and these three things here should be placed in order of in order of density, availability. What's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, the most ones which are there. Frequency is the word I'm looking for. So we just put them, we arrange them decrementally in order of frequency. And the advantage of this is that it saves some cycles, I suppose, in order to, However, obviously, this whole is junk stuff is a waste of time, because we can simply return false from the turtle detect, and then so we can remove this, and we can place the for loop a little higher, like that. So then, because we've no longer got the this junk, we're going to actually need to remove it. And we're simply going to put return false here. Like so. And then we're going to end, and then going to return true. And then that will be that. And of course, all this stuff is going to be removed. So there we go. Okay, so it makes that much smaller. Yeah, I mean that is, so the isValuable function will only return true if it's valuable. So that's that point. Now the next point that we need to consider is, which one are we on? Okay, the next point we're going to need to consider is actually additional content for the mining program. And the additional content that we might want to look at is to do with the ability to do successive mining runs without the program, without having to re-execute the program. And in order to do that, we're going to need the ability to be able to, for the program to ask the user to either to basically to say, do you want to go for a run again? So once again we'll do a choice, and this time we'll set it up as either no or yes. It doesn't actually matter because the person is going to write in. It's just sort of a placeholder for that. Actually, one final thing actually I didn't mention. Okay, so one thing that we need to do is, actually this does follow one actually. The point of being able to actually go again means that we're going to need the turtle to move into position. I have a feeling that the turtle may already be in the right position there. But it'll be coming up that slot. Okay. So like I say, obviously the turtle moves forward 2 blocks forward, 1 space to the right. So we're going to need to make sure basically the red net doesn't actually close. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a few more commands here. This is not going to be quite. It's not going to be technically. Well, yeah, it's not going to be right there. Well, it's not really technical, is it? And we're going to have to turn left here. Okay, and then we can do an end here. So the program actually is ended. And that will be that point. Now, finally, we need to actually do this. So we'll go back to. Oh, have I gone too far? I think I have. I'm actually looking at the screen here. Where are we? Where are the local variables? They should be somewhere around here. All right, here we are. So, do while true do, forever loop. Okay. Is it like that, or is it? Yeah, I'm not sure actually about this bit. Okay. All right. Yeah, it may just be right here. We'll see though. We'll see in a moment. That's on line 38, just in case that error pops up. But yeah, this is basically the thing. So we do if choice. I don't believe we can use. We can't say not and here. We have to use the inequality operator. I was going to say operand, but it's not an operand. So if it's not yes, it's going to be no. Then and yeah, I mean it could be term.print or it could be or it could be just sorry, it could be yeah, it could be, yeah. I'm not sure about term.write, term.print. I'm not sure about this. Basically, is one way of putting it. All right, so there's the end of this program. All right, let's see what happens now. Okay, so yeah, so we'll just type yes this time. Hopefully it keeps on. I think I've got this set something. Oh well. But yeah, if you look underneath here, try not to interrupt it. Yeah, I mean you can't really tell unless I put or right there. Might have been a better way to tell. But yeah, I'm going to check up on that because it should go here, I suppose. So I'm going to check on that in a minute. The next thing that I want to look at, while that's going, I'm going to. That's always a good way to find it when there's a big wall here. Just wanted to look at this program here, the walls program. So I've also got a few changes I'd like to make here. So we'll briefly make these changes. and then I'll just discuss the program, and then I'll conclude by discussing what's happened on the mine program. Hopefully things will have gone okay. And yeah, I was just thinking, is the turtle going to bump into the computer and break it into bits? But I don't think it will. I think we're all right in that front. Now the wall is very, very interesting. If you recall, in the last episode, I got a var arg error, and I actually ended up looking up a lot of this stuff, and it's interesting because this whole stuff is really seems to be one of the key things with Lua. So and I was thinking, like, is it a table? Is it a matrix? I suppose with two variables, it must be a vector. But yeah, so I was thinking, I think it's going to be very important with this stuff. I'm not sure if he's dealing with ordered pairs or how. I'm not really sure how it works in this sort of sense, but yeah, it's something to look at. Obviously, it's very nice. This command line parameter thing is something which I wasn't really aware of before, and I don't know. It could be kind of interesting. So, like I say, there's a few things I'm going to go through. I do want to just tidy up some things here. Even though in the last episode it didn't really appear there's any errors, there are actually some errors. I mean, it can do a pretty good job, and it does actually. It builds the wall. Sometimes it will do one too high. Sometimes it will get stuck. It will get stuck in a hole. There are certain problems, but I just moved that. Didn't mean to move that. But there are certain problems. It can get stuck in a hole. It can, and I mean, it does. It tends to build the right height though, even if it is not for the first one though, not for the first column there, but it tends to do an all right job, I suppose. So what we're going to do is we're just going to, and sometimes on some of my other testing, it didn't actually select the slot properly, so it ended up just being stuck. And yeah, at this point I think, and yeah, because it wasn't able to. I mean, it's fine if you've got a load of stuff in the inventory, but if you don't, there are errors that will occur. Just one of those things, I suppose. And yeah, and that was the second point, and the final point. Oh, I see. Yeah. So we got yeah. But yeah, I mean, I just wanted to look through this again. I mean, obviously, I mean, we can iterate through. I believe actually, one of the other notes but is it doesn't appear. This is quite an interesting point that the slot numbers here 1 through to 16, they don't act as booleans. So you can't just say get item count and then if it returns false, you do have to specify that to be over a certain amount. So there's that. Then obviously returns loot. And you can specify. I like that. That's pretty cool. So for L equals 1 to the length. So if we say the length is 10, and go up by 2 each time. Yeah, and then this one, it goes to 1 from the height minus 1, and it will keep on trying to choose a full slot before placing down below it, and then obviously yeah, and in here we'll specify the full slot again, and when it's going down it's at the top, and if we fail to place above the turtle, then it will select a full slot and place on top again. Yeah, this is yeah, this is an error because it's not a digging turtle, so there's no real point having that in there. And what else is there? But yeah, it's just a way to move around, and really most of the heavy lifting's done here. And it is, yeah, I mean, so it's like this is the start, the end, interval, these three values here. And yeah, I mean that's pretty much that. And yeah, so yeah. And yeah, I mean, and yeah, and it's just a matter of course to kind of in the way here. Well, I didn't really choose the best spot to do this actually. Yeah, as you can see, because it's not a digging turtle, it's completely fucked if there's stuff in the way, like here. But otherwise, it seems to work pretty well. Yeah. Yeah, and you can watch the end of the last episode to see that. So look, we can see what's happened here. Obviously, I believe I actually dug this out, didn't I? So that wasn't really. It's obviously it's landed back up here, as you can see, and it's gone back forward to across one, and it said, "Do you want to go on the mining run again?" So it's a way to basically, you know, a bit of user interaction, do that sort of stuff. And yeah, I mean, that's really all I wanted to go in talk about this episode. Just a few minor adjustments. And yeah, so yeah, until next time, that is it. So thanks for watching.